Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, all right, is we are now going to be looking at the actual persuasive essay itself in terms of the layout of your persuasive essay. So the persuasive essay is very similar to the critical essay in terms of the way it looks. It's only slightly different in that um, basically each part of the essay does sort of like a specific thing. So what I'd like you to do is just make your heading persuasive essay layout. So obviously this is if you're going to do a persuasive essay for your folio. If you're going to do a reflective essay, just skip this lesson, go to the next set of lessons, which are on reflective essays. Okay, so the first thing is your introduction. Now, what an introduction does is it begins by giving your persuasive statement, okay? And your persuasive statement is, yeah, good. Your persuasive statement is again just uh, the statement in your plan that tells you what the essay is all about. So, for example, animal testing should be stopped, or animal testing is wrong, it's unethical, whatever. Just basically, whatever your main statement is, your introduction should have your main statement in it, and your essay should start out that way. So, begin by giving your main statement, your main persuasive statement. The next thing you want to do, okay, is you want to have a look at your plan and then have a look at the main points in your plan. Basically, what is each of your main what are each of the main things you're going to speak about? For example, animal testing is wrong because it's not effective. It's unethical. Animals are harmed by it. Whatever it is that you're going to talk about, you basically want to give like a little sort of summary. Again, you don't want to go into sort of a lot of detail here. It's just a little summary, basically something like this. Um, Animal testing should be stopped. Persuasive statement. Uh, Animal testing is unethical, it's ineffective, and it harms the environment. Something, I don't know, like whatever your basic points are, you just want to give like a little taste of them, and you can give a little bit of detail, but not too much, okay? Because it's just an introduction. Remember, it's just an introduction. So you can give a little bit of detail, just laying out what you're going to talk about, but not too much. Okay, then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna give uh what's called a hook. Okay. And all that means is you're just gonna end your introduction by sort of um either asking a question or by making a sort of statement which makes the reader like invested in your essay. It makes them want to continue reading your essay. So, for example, you could say, like a shocking fact, 1 million animals a year are killed for testing, something like that. I'm not sure if that's true, but just for an example, something shocking makes the reader say, "Oh, really? I want to know more," and they continue. Or the simplest way is just to ask a question. Um, so who's really to blame for this, or something like that? Or is this right? Or uh, are you heartless enough to agree with this? Or something like that. Yeah. So just basically some kind of question that hooks the reader in, makes them answer, and makes them say, okay, I want to know more. I want to know why they're saying this. So again, the introduction, it just basically gives the statement, tells the reader this essay is going to be about this topic. Um, it then gives a little sort of sample of what your essay is going to be talking about. Just focus on your three sort of main points. You can just even list them out and give a little bit of detail. Animal testing is inhumane. Many animals each year are harmed by it. They die. That'd be the inhumane. And then just whatever your second and third main point are. And then you end on a hook. Again, just either a sort of statement which is like emotional or shocking, or a question which makes the reader want to know more. So that is your introduction. Okay, now your next section. Now your next section is your main body paragraph section. Okay. and there are 4 main body paragraphs. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to focus on just the first 3. Okay, and these first 3 paragraphs, what they focus on is, again, in your plan, you laid out 3 main points, 3 main reasons why you're saying what you're saying. Each of your main paragraphs focuses on one of those reasons. So your first main paragraph will focus on your first reason. So animal testing is wrong. You said because this. Your first main paragraph will focus on that. And when you're writing this, I think I mentioned this before in the last lesson, what you want to do is focus on the logic, first of all, on the evidence, on the statistics and the facts. So focus on just making a good argument, which is just about basically saying, I believe this, and here's why I believe it. Here's the evidence. Here's why it makes sense. And then once you've done that, then you can focus on the emotion. Okay, you can focus on the emotional word choice. You can focus on trying to make the reader sort of feel something. But first of all, focus on the logic and the statistics and the facts. Make a good argument, and then after that, go back in and add in the emotional word choice and imagery and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now what you want to do in paragraph 3, all right, either paragraph 3 or 4, what you want to do in paragraph 3, it's a good opportunity for you to mention the people who disagree with you. So what you can do is in your first 2 paragraphs, you can have your main points. Your third one, you can make it, here's what the people who disagree with me say, and lay it out, just like I said in the plan. And then here's why they are not right. Okay, why they're wrong, basically, and counter what they say. Again, this is really good because it shows you are that you've done some research. It shows that your ideas are strong. It shows that you can do critical thinking. It shows just a lot of good qualities, and it makes your argument much stronger than if you don't have this part in it. Okay, then what you have after you do this is you're gonna have a very sort of short kind of paragraph, and all you're gonna do here is you're just gonna mention the story. You're gonna mention the story, okay, that you that I asked you to get when you were planning. So you're gonna mention a story here which sort of backs up what you were saying. And when you're writing the story, again, focus first of all just on the logical, how the story shows what you're saying is right, and then use the story, really go in and use a lot of emotional language, make the person feel whatever the emotion is you're trying to create. For example, if you're trying to make them feel angry, use a lot of like short sentences, use a lot of uh, sort of show language that shows the person's been harmed in some way, wronged in some way. If you're trying to make them feel sad, maybe use quotes from a victim. If you're trying to make them feel happy, again, focus on the happy parts. Really describe the happy, use the happy things that are going on. Just basically think about what emotion is in the story, and then try your best to sort of really bring that out. Okay, then the final thing you're going to do, okay, is your conclusion. And your conclusion is just going to summarize the main points of your essay. So just like you do in a critical essay, the conclusion just summarizes what you've said before. So you're just summarizing what you've said in your main points, okay, just sort of restating them. You could even do it in a very simple way. You could say, state your persuasive statement, animal testing is wrong because, and then just summarize the main points that you've made. Then what you want to do is you want to finish your essay by saying your persuasive statement again, but you want to say it in a way that is sort of is like very strong, very emotional, very impactful. So again, just think about how can you end your essay by saying your persuasive statement again, but in a way that is sort of easy to remember or is memorable. And this would be sort of like, again, just using like a shocking image, or using like strong word choice. Basically, just think about how can you make your ending sort of memorable. Now, one thing that you don't want to do, a tip for you, is you don't want to introduce any new points or anything new in your conclusion. So, uh, all of your arguments are done before this. Your conclusion should just only tie back to things you've said before. Don't put anything new in your conclusion, because a conclusion is the end of the essay. So anything new should come before the end. Make sense? Okay, so um that is your sort of persuasive essay layout. Now what we're going to do next is so I'm going to show you an example persuasive essay, maybe point out some of the things that the student has done well. And then after that, we'll move on to sort of some tips. And then, yes, excuse me, yes, we'll look at a reflective essay in the lessons after that. Okay.